For the longest time, I've only really been invested in the PlayStation platform, especially the PlayStation 2. But in recent years, I've started to buy consoles I missed out on during their heyday, and well, the GameCube always struck me as an odd yet really interesting device. Now that I own one, I wondered what its games were like to play. Better late than never, right? The Nintendo GameCube these days is a well-loved system by those who actually manage to play it along with its well-received games. The modding community also loves it too. It's pretty clear interest in the GameCube is through the roof. I wasn't all that interested until recently myself. There's a certain charm about this lunchbox that I cannot describe to you. Enough about that, it's the games that make the GameCube worthwhile. I have 8 lined up for this video, so let's see if these are any good or not. Let's begin. We start with The Sum of All Fears, a game that ties into the movie of the same name. I haven't heard or watched it, by the way. It's a first-person tactical shooting game, which I thought could be interesting, until I played it. The intro cutscene looks tragically bad, with low-grade polygon models, and the voiceover.
Individuals like CIA analyst Jack Ryan can combat this new evil. Especially when that evil...
Yeah, even this gentleman knew that this game was a lost cause. Once you truly start, you get the most boring briefing screen I've ever seen, and then confusion erupts. Why is there a line showing exactly where to go in every mission? Why are the enemies practically brain dead? Why is the sound experience butchered beyond belief? Why are the controls needlessly complicated and heavy? This game was an utter chore to play. Never have I experienced such a game with such glaring and obvious problems through to release. I've played bad games before, but none like this. The Sum of All Fears is just dire, and I don't suggest you play this one. After that experience, I fired up Metroid Prime, hoping for a better first-person experience. This game had a lot on its shoulders. After all, how do you make a first-person Metroid experience? Retro Studios had a crack, and I have to say, it's absolutely brilliant. Yes, I didn't get that far yet, and yes, there's much more to experience, but from what I played, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. The gameplay is fast-paced, and it makes you think about what you need to do. The graphics are fantastic, with the effects taking center stage, like how your visor gets filled with dirt and blood. I love that. Scanning the environment is fun, and I enjoyed learning about the world and more about the Metroid lore. Naturally, shooting my enemies was also fun to do, and the missile attack was my favourite to use. I can't wait to replay this one and attempt to complete it fully. This is a GameCube classic for sure, and I understand why this is so highly rated. I tried out Star Fox Adventures next. This game is quite hard for me to explain, but I will try. This is an action platformer that has Star Fox characters having to explore Dinosaur Planet and solving puzzles as you go along. Crystal here is an original character, and you first play as her before getting to play as Fox McCloud. You'll get to learn more about the events of Dinosaur Planet and experience the mechanics of the game. Overall, the game is well made, interesting enough to keep you wanting to learn more, and the graphics are superb. In fact, the graphics are the best feature of this game. They look so good for an early GameCube release. I wish I could experience this game in 480p rather than 480i, but even so, I wasn't disappointed. I played for a good hour, and it was clear I had a long way to go before I truly experienced the full extent of this game. I'm not sure if I can wholeheartedly say to experience this game, but if you like what you see here, go for it. Resident Evil is one of my favourite game franchises, and to play this game on the GameCube was a treat. Although I've already played and completed the remastered version on PC, the GameCube original is still impressive. I don't need to explain what the game is or what the story is about, we all already know. Everything that made Resident Evil a classic title is all here. Great and difficult puzzles, likeable characters, a compelling story, and excellent graphics. Not to mention a wonderful atmosphere to boot and genuine scares along the way. I love this title, and playing it on GameCube just reaffirmed how impressive this game was 20 years ago. Capcom made really good use of the GameCube's power, and it looks incredible even in 480i. Imagine this in 480p and line doubled to 960p. Go and get this game, it's just a wonderful experience that you need in your life. Eternal Darkness is another horror game that is more in vein of Silent Hill, using psychological horror instead of jump scares. The story is interesting, and I like how the game is presented using a combination of fixed cameras and the ones that follow you as you move. The puzzles are fairly difficult, and although the menu system is a bit complicated, you'll figure it out all in no time. The graphics are good, although the shadow quality in some areas were a bit on the low side, and it was cool to see 16:9 widescreen support. The combat was clunky as expected, and in tight groups in narrow spaces, I took cheap hit after cheap hit. I will say, despite some flaws, Eternal Darkness is a great horror game, and yes, I need to play the game some more because its potential is not fully realised until its later stages. The game was cheaper than expected for me in the UK, so if you own a PAL GameCube like myself, buy it and enjoy. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 was a game I really looked forward to playing. The main menu theme was awesome, and seeing clips of the older films in the background was sweet. As for the game itself, it's a flight sim game, and boy oh boy was I thrilled all the way. The gameplay is tight and responsive, the music as well, Star Wars, and it's all pretty chaotic. I loved the first person view too. It made me feel like I was actually there. I didn't get far though. This trench part of the mission killed me over and over again. Still, the taste of this level makes me want to keep playing, and I hope in the future I can get further. This game is definitely recommended.
Big switch, follow me. Help me with those fighters. Hold on, Luke, I'm on my way.
Soulcalibur II is an awesome fighting game. I own all 3 versions from the PlayStation 2, Xbox Original, and now the GameCube. I will admit that the controller for this port is not ideal. The D-pad is squishy and positioned too low, and the button layout on the face buttons make it difficult to bluff move consistently, in my experience. If you only played this version, you would probably be used to the strange layout. Overall, Soulcalibur 2 is just fantastic and just so much fun to play. Definitely recommended for the GameCube. The last game for this video is Wreckless, Yakuza Missions. This is a driving game where you have missions and objectives to complete in each mission before moving on to the next. Conceptually, this game is up my alley. It's a driving game with a lot of destruction elements, and I love crazy action games with many crashes and explosions, and games like Burnout do this so very well. This game though, well, it just doesn't work. The handling is so sensitive, any sense of control is lost. Hitting the walls and traffic is a common occurrence in this game, and it just slows you down, always. The weapons are weak and lack any punch when used, and trying to ram anyone just feels dead. There's no feeling of weight or impact behind anything here. The physics are just floaty and really poor. It comes across as unfinished and rushed to me. The missions are more frustrating than fun, and the voice acting is properly annoying. It's not even funny annoying because it tries too hard with its awful lines of dialogue. This is not the worst game ever, but it's disappointing all things considered. There we are folks, 8 GameCube games that I tried out for the very first time. I can see the appeal of the console and why it's well loved in the retro community. There's plenty of games to enjoy, and it will give you a unique experience of the games. I do wish we had 480p support for the PAL version, but 60Hz is supported, and the games do look good when using the RGB SCART cable I used in this episode. Modding the GameCube will be something that I want to do, especially to get 480p video output. What did you folks think of the games in question? Do you like the GameCube? Let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you all again next time.